Okay, here we go. Sloppy Giallo. It's supposed to sit in the fridge for a while first and then harden up. I don't know.
Is it just me? Or is it getting crazier out there?
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Late Horror Show. There was a little hiccup there. Did you hear that? Repeat. Welcome to Late Horror Show. I am Dino, and that is Ginger. As always, what's going on, Ginger?
Hi, everybody.
That was so enthusiastic. Jeez. Yeah, do some flips or something like that.
You told me I look like a librarian, so now I'm self-conscious.
So another Giallo. Yeah, you're a librarian tonight. That's true. Yeah. Anyways.
I'd like to be the librarian in the Tears for
Dewey
Fears
Decimal
video,
System.
Head Over Heels.
Dewey Decimal System.
Head
Okay,
over heels, Tears
tonight.
for Fears.
Tonight, Tears of Fears. Okay, tonight we're going to do 1971's "The Night Evelyn Came Out of the Grave," and I did mean it when I said a sloppy Giallo film, and we will talk about it. Listen, there were 9 edits for this film. I don't think they knew what the hell they were doing. The movie's directed by Emilio Miraglia, who also did the 7 or the Red Queen Kill 7 Times.
And
how can you be so drastic in your writing abilities for a Giallo film? First of all, honestly, Ginger, are you with me on this? The Night Evelyn Came Out of the Grave did not feel like a Giallo film at all. Not for me, not whatsoever.
it had some elements that are also in Giallo movies, but no. I kept thinking,
Okay.
like, where is this movie a Giallo? Where?
Yeah,
But
I don't know.
this isn't the first time that we've gone
No.
over a movie that they had on the list because it was the same director, maybe, or a lot of the same actors were in it.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that in a second. Let me say hi to everybody. Hey, Connie Clary. Freddie Miranda, what's going on? Good to see you. Harry Scott. They're all pouring in. Glockter, WWM.
I told you they
Kathy.
would.
Hey, Kathy, what's going on? Good to see Jacob. Good to see everybody.
Well, we'll have plenty of time for you to talk about the whole new Discord situation because this movie isn't much to talk about.
Yeah, no, listen, I've got a lot to get into on this movie and talk about the actors.
Well, let's do it.
But yeah, really quick to recap. Again, there was some confusion that people thinking, oh, Dino's not going to stream the overnights, the old time radio shows. Yes, nothing on the channel changes. I'm just saying the movie nights for the Patreon members let me do this slow. The movie nights that we usually do on Fridays at 8 p.m. Eastern time for all Patreon members and channel members is moving to Discord. Everything
it's moving to a good place. It's a good place.
Everything I'm doing is on Discord now. Now, I maybe that's where they messed up and they thought, oh, everything? I don't mean everything other than what I do on YouTube. All of my Patreon stuff and my channel membership stuff. So the bonus material and the movie nights is all going to be on Discord. It's just one place. Everybody loved it when they were in the streaming room. I tested it out.
I loved it. I was there.
It's so easy. You just pop on over to the streaming room and there you go. Patreon has the link to the Discord, which gets you to the Discord. And from when you're on Discord, you'll see on Friday night movie nights, you'll see everything. You'll see the streaming room. If you're on YouTube and you're a channel member, a lot of people don't know that if you're on the Late Horror Show page, the main page where you see all the videos, the channel, the join, subscribe, all of that stuff. If you're a channel member, you can click down where it says join down there, It says see perks. See perks. I hope this helps out. That's for anybody who's a channel member. And if you click it, all the posts for channel members will be there. And it'll include links to Discord and for movie nights. So please remember to check those things out, because that's where it's going to be from now on. Alexander McDougall, what's going on? And there's Goomba. Hate it when I stuck my Hyde's body. Yeah, Jekyll and Hyde, right? What do you need to? Well, I guess that's a story for a different night. Yeah, how many accounts? I love that Dino was on the dry run. Yeah, checking it out. Okay, so the night Evelyn came out of the grave in 1971, it was made before the other movie that he wrote, The Red Queen Kills 7 Times. And the director was Emilio Miraglia, and the writer, I should try to get his name right, Fabio Pittoru.
Pistori.
No, Fabio Pittoru. Massimo Felicati.
Okay. Let's go over the cast. This is fun.
But it's funny that this was the movie he did, and it just was all over the place and crazy, and honestly, the movie, the director, Emilio, what were you thinking? It was so cheap. The writing was terrible. It was bad.
The acting was terrible. The acting was terrible.
And who does it have? There's 3 movies.
The maestro.
It has the maestro who plays, who is Anthony Stefan, who plays Lord Alan Cunningham, the main character in this movie, who's a rich millionaire or whatever.
He's the heir to something in England. He's like,
yeah, and he's got this big cast. So we'll get to the plot in a second. But there's Anthony Stefan, who played in the last movie we did, The Crimes of the Black Cat. The Crimes of the Black Cat, which was done by Sergio Pistori, directed by. Also in The Crimes of the Black Cat, which we just did, also had the butler, who was Burton, who was played by Umberto Rajo. And here
and Victor.
Yes, and here he plays Farley. And you also got, the doctor in this movie, Dr. Richard Timberlane, who is the psychiatrist for Lord Alan Cunningham in this film, also played in The Crimes of the Black Cat. So you have 3 people who played in the last movie we did, The Crimes of the Black Cat, and I just thought that was very interesting. And then the tie-in to The Red Queen Kills 7 Times, 1972, who they did a year later. They did these movies back to back. The Night Evelyn Came Out of the Grave and The Red Queen Kills 7 Times, back to back.
I believe you've mentioned that.
Yes, the first one, but I'm repeating myself. The first one, this movie that we're doing now, sucked, sloppy, cheap. Listen, the fact that there was not even no practical effects when it came to like the kill scenes and certain things like that. Don't give me your score yet. Come on, put that down. Oh, it's a mess. I see your score already. That's ridiculous.
Well, okay, there's my score.
That's ridiculous.
We know where I stand.
That's ridiculous. So now we know. She gives it a 4 out of 10. Let's see if I can change your mind.
I mean, you've already given away that you hated the movie, so.
Well, I did. How badly did I hate it though? Yeah, I hated it.
So we have Marina Malfatti, who played Gladys. Oh, and we've seen her before.
Yes, and oh, mamma mia, mwah, she's the pretty. And she's that lady has an IMDb, man, super long, like Route 66 is what they say. Hey, Kevin, what's going on? Teach, she's misbehaving. CM, what's going on? Rich Cat, I think that's everybody. Yeah, it's the chat's slow down, people. Ed Wood is my hero. I agree with you. John Cappuccini. Cappuccini, what's going on? Good to see you, John. Yes, we're talking about a terrible Giallo film. Listen,
so we were talking about Marina Malfatti.
Yes, and she plays Gladys Cunningham, the redhead who ends up marrying Lord Alan Cunningham.
After they had known each other for one day.
One day. You mean, I love when they're in the bed scene, and I know we're talking about a scene already, but I love in the bed scene when they're making love, and because they were in a car before, and he said, "I want to marry you right away," and she goes,
and she said, "Why?" And he said, "Because I want to go to bed with you."
"Yeah," and she goes, "Well, let's go in for a nightcap, and that way, you don't have to marry me; you can make love to me." And then they get in there and they make love, and she turns over, or he, yeah, and he goes, "I want to marry you," and she goes, "You still want to marry me now that you've had me?" So yeah, he fell in love with her because, listen, the whole movie revolves around
Did
Evelyn.
he? Did he fall in love with her?
Well, he's a little whacked out. He's a little nuts and crazy.
Or did he get married
Lord,
because it was convenient? Because his doctor told him he should get married, and that he thought it would help him,
well,
and
there's a
because she was a redhead.
listen. This movie's so convoluted. There's several different reasons why he probably married her, and none of them really make sense or sense together. Because listen, there's two main plots in this movie. There's that ending thing that's going on, and there's the beginning thing that's going on with Alan Cunningham, who is crazy, or is he? Because he's got a
By the end of the
psychiatrist.
movie, he certainly doesn't seem crazy. They make him
No,
seem so normal at the end of the I'm like, "Wait, so he's just gonna get away
right.
with all the stuff he did? It's over?"
And that's the terrible writing, because yes, at the end they bring it all together. Hello, hey, it's Dave Plouffe, and too many martinis. There you go, too many martinis. I'm just going to say it like that. There you go. Good to see you guys. But yes, at the end of the movie, it certainly doesn't seem insane. But at the beginning of the movie, the writing and everything make you think he's Lord Alan Cunningham is crazy because his wife Evelyn died earlier, and he's bringing home redheads to take the place of his redheaded wife Evelyn, who has died. But most of them don't show the potential of being her, because like the first victim alone comes back. He picks up the movie opens right up with him in the car with this redhead, and I don't know if she's a prostitute or he picked her up at a
She
bar.
must be, because he offers her money, so and she's happy about it. She must be.
Yeah, well, he offered Susan, who we'll talk about later too, money, and she was a stripper at a club, so yeah, all the same thing. Uh,
Yes.
but he brings them back. He
To his
has,
castle.
yes, this castle, which is this. Let me say how much I love this castle. I want to live there. Again,
The
it's just
walls, the art on the walls. I mean, that must have been someone's actual home, someone's castle. I mean,
the pluses, cinematography, the location shoots, which is
it's
easy enough to
always the
do.
location in these Giallos. The location is always
Right.
really good.
But when you got a big, gloomy, dark castle like this for a location shoot, I mean, it's just makes for a very cool Gothic tale. And it is kind of a haunting tale also, which kind of confuses you with the whole Giallo aspect. Even though there's Gothic Giallo movies out there, it's just had a different feel for me. And when we get into the two different plots, you'll understand why I say, a Giallo film, really? But the Trotter Horse Watson Jr., what's going on? But getting back to the woman at the beginning, sorry, Ginger, she's in the car. But my point was bringing the girls back, and
And
then
he always pulls their hair. He pulls their hair, and they're like, "Ow!" He's very grabby, and
yeah,
he
but
pulls their hair to make sure they're really redheads, to make sure it's not a wig.
yes, and we'll talk about that in a second. But at the beginning of the movie, they make it seem like he's killing a bunch of redheads. He's a serial killer,
Right.
because even his Evelyn's husband, I think, or boyfriend, husband. Yes, I think it's her ex-husband, Albert,
Albert's
who's
her brother.
brother. Albert's his brother. Evelyn's brother, who stays employed on the grounds of the castle.
And he knows all this stuff that Alan's doing, but he just stays for the money. Alan gives him money to keep quiet.
Keeps blackmailing him.
And why doesn't Alan just kill him?
You tell me. Giallo. Yes, you must put it in the refrigerator, wait at least an hour, and it's good to go. But this movie just started eating right. This Giallo soup. Listen, Albert, yes, but doesn't it say right away, Ginger, that he really is killing these victims, or not? They don't show the first victim get killed,
right?
But that's
you
the point
assume,
right?
No, the first victim, you don't. They don't show it, but you can hear it, and you assume it. The second one got away.
Yes, got away, and that's Susan, who then goes missing. Well, let's start talking about the movie. I think we talked about all the characters.
We did not.
There's also.
Let me go over the list of characters real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, you did Anthony Stephan, Lord Alan Cunningham, Marina Malfatti, Gladys. Umberto Rajo played the bailiff Farley, and he was the valet in the other movie. And Roberto Maldera played Albert. And these movies, there's always some creepy guy hanging around who's like a half-wit. It's always like that.
Right.
Joan Davies played Aunt Agatha in the zippy wheelchair.
Listen, who's Aunt Agatha? Are they trying to tell us that Aunt Agatha is Alan Cunningham's aunt? Because listen, she looked the same age as him. There was no gray in her hair. She had long black hair. She looked like a young woman.
Yeah, she was in a wheelchair. So she
was just in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
But that's my point with the cheap.
Well, maybe she wasn't really his aunt. Maybe they just called her that. I don't know. But anyway, real quick, let's get through the rest.
Okay, go ahead.
Erica Blank played Susie.
Yes.
Rod Murdoch or Enzo Tarasio played George Harriman, who was like a cousin or something of Alan Cunningham.
Yes, George Harrison, the cousin, comes into play throughout the movie, and then especially at the end.
And then the last one is Giacomo Rossi Stewart, Dr. Richard Timberlane.
Yes, who we've seen in the previous film that we did, The Crimes of the Black Cat.
And so the beginning of this movie, the maestro, because we don't know his name yet, so I just called him the maestro. He climbs down on a rope made of sheets, and he just runs away.
Yeah.
And then it just doesn't tell you anything, and then he's in the car with the girl. And why is there a Ferris wheel? Did you see the Ferris wheel?
Wait, where's there a Ferris wheel? What,
I was like, what? Are they at a carnival? What's going on? Just where maybe he picked her up there.
Yeah, Dave
Plouffe. Carney?
I don't know, Dave Plouffe. But your uncle is roughly the same age as you, Dino. Good point, Dave. He remembers a fact from 6 years ago. Yes, I got an Uncle Gino who was born 4 months before me.
That happens.
There's grandmother
people who have nieces and nephews that are older than they are.
Right. Well, my grandmother and my mother had a kid at the same time, which was just very odd. But we grew up being best friends most of our life, and
that happens.
I don't know what the hell's going on in his life now, but that's the way life goes, right?
Yes.
So yeah, I missed the Ferris wheel somehow. How did I miss that? But yes, then they're in the car.
It was just for a second. I thought, okay, they're at a carnival. This will be good for a Giallo movie, to be at a carnival with all the lights and the noise and the music and stuff and all the people.
And Gino's spelled like Gino, just like Dino's Dino. Listen.
He stops to smoke a cigarette. He takes her home. He's going to take this girl home. And he says, let me stop to smoke a cigarette. I don't drive well. I don't smoke and drive. So he pulls over and he says, oh, I need to go check the tires. And he gets out of his car and he takes the license plate off. And
he's a slick one.
And they only did that one time. I was like, that's a really good gimmick to use. And he only did it the one time. And if you leave that license plate in the middle of the road where there's only one house around, I don't know.
No, we're going in order now, CM. The flick sounds so confusing. Well, it is
very confusing.
It's kind of, listen, most Giallo films are a bit confusing. They try to throw you off with red herrings. Sidetrack.
The end of it is like they tried to throw 50 different things into the movie at the end, at the very end. Like, let's
Well,
just
and
do
that's
all of
what.
this.
Listen, this is what gets me with some of the borderline Giallo films, that they'll do the whole film. It's laid out, it's written, everything.
But then they have to have that twist.
They may have red herrings and try to throw you off and everything. And then every now and then in some of these films, the bad ones, they'll throw in, hey, let's bring somebody out of nowhere, the guy upstairs, and make him a killer. So he's the killer. So it's like a very cheap way out of getting to the end of the film and not exposing the killer until the writer or director wants to, and without building up character. Listen, I think a good Giallo film is building up the killer of the movie throughout, building up to a big climax at the end, revealing the killer. You can be, oh, that's the killer. But when you see the killer, you go, oh, it makes sense throughout the entire film. That's good writing. A lot of the times they'll throw in these twists like this one, and you're just like, oh, easy way out to just, change the ending of the story. But
is it an easy way out though, or did they really think that would work?
Listen.
It would have been
So
actually
many
easier to just get to the point and.
Yeah, listen. I think it's just a cheap way to get out of.
They had some good stuff, like at the very end although.
Hello, Ocean.
When the woman when Gladys was in the crypt, and she's wearing that whatever mask thing.
Oh, let's not talk about the ending. But go ahead. I guess it don't matter.
What is that? And how long was she in there? And how did they know he was even going to come out there? Like,
well,
what are you doing? It's just.
It's a cool effect. There's a couple of cool things.
That was cool, but they didn't use it right.
Oh no! And there's even a part a little bit later on with the foxes and Aunt Agatha that we'll talk about. That kind of
felt bad for those foxes. I mean, they just keep those foxes in that cage. Like, why?
Visit a zoo, Ginger.
I don't like zoos or circuses.
They're trying to do circuses is a different story, but zoos, they're trying to help these animals not become extinct. So
I don't think there's a danger of foxes going extinct in England.
No, but my point being, poor foxes. Sidetracked with zoos. We go. So let's get on track with this movie. So we're at the beginning of this movie. He's doing the old switcheroo, which actually leads to him. He's a serial killer. He's doing things that are showing that he's got a pattern of killing redheads that don't meet up to his standards as Evelyn, because throughout the movie,
it doesn't matter if they meet his standards. He's going to kill them anyway. What standards?
No, because Susan eventually becomes the one girl. Susie.
Gladys.
Susie, isn't it? Oh no, Gladys Cunningham. Sorry, played by the beautiful Marina Malfatti. I'm all over the place.
I think he married her because his psychiatrist told him he should get married, and that would help him calm down and get over Evelyn's death and everything.
I think that was a part of it. And hey, John McKee, I think that was a part of it. I think he also did have a connection with that one, because the other ones ended up just being a little.
What, he knew her for 2 hours? How long did he know her?
It's funny because, yes, things were different with Gladys than they were with the first two. Okay, so the first one, let's get to that. The first one he brings in, I don't even think we know a name for this woman, do we? The redhead in the car?
Let's see.
Is that Paola? Paolo?
No, that was the other movie.
No, there was a Paolo in this one too.
Maybe, I don't know.
But nevertheless,
but as he takes her into this castle, someone's in the bushes lurking, watching. I'm like, what? What is this?
Well, they immediately. That's the Giallo aspect where you go, oh, there's a gloved killer in the bushes trying to. Yeah, but no, they quickly show his face, and you know that it's Albert. Albert's constantly lurking, watching what Alan is doing, and but yes, he switches the plates, takes her back to the castle, brings her into his. Everything's dilapidated, the castle, everything except for
She
one
says, "Why don't
room.
we just go to my place?"
Right. But she's going with him arm in arm. Let's go.
Because he
Let's
paid
go.
her 500 pounds.
Right. But in the castle, he's keeping up with one area, which you would do if you are a single man, I guess, and you got this acres of, a castle. And he's keeping up with one room, and he brings the girl into the room, and she starts to take off her top. I heard somebody review this movie and talk about how ridiculously the nude scenes were in there, how many there were. I don't even think there was that many.
There was 2, I think.
Yeah, so I don't know if this person's a Giallo fan. What are you talking about? There's
Well,
so many
dancing
more.
was terrible. Is that what they're talking about? Because their dancing was pathetic.
No, it was just about all the nudity in the film, and I'm like, every Giallo has
No, we've
nudity.
seen some with way more nudity than this.
Everyone does. Hello, Ian Sharp, everything except the weapons. So he brings her into the room, and then she starts to do the thing. She's trying to please him because she was paid like a prostitute, and he brings
But
her
she's
into the
kissing on him, and he pushes her away.
because he wants to get her down into the dungeon area. I guess that's what he does.
This is down there in the dungeon. When she's
Right.
dancing and stuff, they're down there.
Yes, and she's trying to be all lovey-dovey and let's
Yeah.
get to the action kind of stuff.
Mhm.
But he's like, no. He wants the girls to constantly put on these long black leather boots that evidently were Evelyn's and remind him of Evelyn. So once they put it on, boy, when Susie put them on, yeah, it was an 8 out of 10. But what happens is he gets irritated because they're being a little too like flashy and like dirty.
Yeah.
Listen, that's who does he think he picked up? But they're being who they're supposed to be for him and playing a role because and he ends up not liking it, and he gets this whip. Although, did the first one get the whip on him, or was that Susie?
Both of them did.
Both of them get the whip. So
Mhm.
both of them get the whip. The first one gets the whip and starts to slowly, I'm going to whip you with it and have fun. You know what I mean? Dino 8 out of 10, Kevin. Well, Susie a fox. Susie was pretty, but listen, Gladys, Marina Molfatti.
Who was the prettiest one?
What?
I think Susie was the prettiest one. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. Gladys was the prettiest one.
Gladys. She was all right. Susie was the pretty one.
Kevin says Ginger is 10 out of 10.
Oh, stop.
Hey, Seth the Welsh.
Thank you,
and
Kevin.
hey,
that's very nice of you.
Hey, it's Manischewitz, Mike. What's going on? Good to see you. I tip my hat to you, good sir. So he doesn't like how she's acting, and he puts her on this kind of torture device where it's kind of like a bondage thing, horse thing that you would tie her up to. And
she's face down, and he ties her to it.
Yeah, he's whipping her and stuff, and
it's very disturbing.
Yeah, it's a little bit of an intense scene, but not real intense. You just get the picture that and Albert's creeping around. So Albert sees, he's around the corner looking.
Yes, he sees it all.
I see what's going on. I'm gonna blackmail him tomorrow for 30 pounds, which is what he does. So yeah, and then they kind of cut away and they don't show.
Oh, she asks him who's the girl in the painting. And he never answered her.
But they don't actually show her dying.
No, they don't. But you assume it. I mean, he's whipping her with this whip and she's screaming.
Right. And later on, they talk about the death of this girl. And so you figure he's a serial killer. So why towards the end of the movie, and this isn't spoiling nothing, does he turn out to be, oh, I'm not crazy anymore, and I've kind of figured everything out?
He ends up almost like a hero at the end. I'm like, wait, is he the hero now?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. And
so
again,
he grabs a knife and he calls this woman Evelyn. He grabs a knife and she tells him that her friend took his license plate number, and he says, I know, an old horse trick. He said, that's why I had false number plates.
Right. And that's the whole point of this, is that he's getting women to take the place of Evelyn,
Evelyn.
and they're just not working out to his satisfaction. So he's a
I
serial
didn't see
killer.
it that way. I saw it as he was going to kill them anyway.
Well, right. I seen it as, especially once we got to Gladys, the third redhead in the film, that he's technically looking for somebody to love. Although the psychiatrist, like you mentioned, that's a point too in this film, that he says maybe if you marry somebody, the crazy thoughts and hallucinations and stuff, because there's scenes throughout the movie where he's kind of blurry vision and, oh, I'm not with it.
He's flashing back to where he sees Evelyn running out in the garden naked into the
Oh
arms
yeah,
of some other man. But you have
yeah.
to wonder, did that really happen? Because then later on, her brother Albert says she died in childbirth. Like, you knew that there was a danger of it, and you knew she was going to die in childbirth. This is your fault, or something like that. I'm like, so what? Did she cheat on him, or did she die in childbirth?
Well, supposedly she cheated on him.
Okay.
So that was the whole point that I caught. But I don't understand. I have no clue what movie is this. We're talking Ocean, the title underneath the video. It's The Night Evelyn Came Out of the Grave, 1971. Another Giallo film directed by Emilio Miraglia. And
So he
so
stabbed her? Did we not see him stab her?
no, I didn't see a stabbing for the first victim. No.
Okay, because I wrote down he stabbed her and someone's watching, and then he gets all her things together and burns all her clothes and stuff.
Yes, we do see that. We do see him burn it, but nevertheless, listen, he killed the first victim, redhead in the film, and
then we get to see the doctor in the car with the chauffeur and the nurse.
yes, yes,
And he
and that's
sees
when,
the smoke coming from the chimney.
yes, and he says, "Pull over! I got to get to the whatever estate. I forget the name of the estate, the Cunningham estate, the doctor, whatever." And he goes in there, and this is when you find out that they're kind of connected, and start talking. Is everything okay and stuff like that. But hey, Mike Barrett, I am the sexy master. What? Adam for Christ, what's going on? I don't even know what that means, Mike Barrett. Maybe Alan Cunningham, or Lord Alan, is the sexy master, and yeah, because it seemed like a little bondage stuff going on there, but nevertheless.
And then Alan says, the doctor says to him, they know each other, like you said. They go inside. He doesn't take him to the torture room, but he takes him into the, like you said, the part of the castle that's still habitable. And
Right.
He says, "Did you have another attack?" I'm like, "Oh, is that what they're calling this? He has attacks."
Yeah, I mean, listen, the whole point is he's crazy, and I think what the writers were trying to get out through the entire movie, I think, and listen, again, 9 edits for this film. There's so many different versions. And listen, the movie came in at like an hour 40 minutes, somewhere around there.
Mine was like an hour and 36 minutes. But
Okay.
you're right, there's a lot of different times.
20 minutes should be gone from this movie.
Absolutely.
There's way too much information, way too much
dragging, where you're like, something needs to happen.
Yeah, it's really, really crazy. But yeah, there's this scheme to where I think they're trying to make the family, because there's also this inheritance thing going on throughout the movie, where it's Lord Cunningham. It's I think
his cousin George.
His cousin George, yes, who kind of is hooking him up with the redheads, which comes into play at the end. Well, at least Susie.
Oh yeah. Yep.
He introduces him to Susie. He says, "Hey, why don't you go?"
I think he introduced him to 2.
Yeah, Susie and Gladys.
Mm-hmm.
They don't say he introduced Gladys, because Gladys is at a party.
No, there was another one. No, Susie. You're right, Susie. It was Susie, because he asked him about Susie.
Yes, Susie is the one he told him to go visit at the club. The stripper, who, when she puts on the show for him, and we're
She
there,
comes
we're
out of
there.
a coffin?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Listen, it's just some dark, seedy Italian club where they're drinking martinis, and the strippers up there and they're doing their thing, shaking their tail feather and ripping off clothes. And at the end, she rips off. And although we don't see no full on anything in this film, so, very clean that way.
Sorry about that.
By
You
Menon.
see a lot of boobies in this movie.
Listen, not as much as any other Giallo or
That's
even
true.
less.
That's true. But you do see some boobies. Be
This reminds me
satisfied.
Dave Plouffe says this reminds me of. Listen, I'm not there for the boobs for the most part. I'm there for the story and the
It's
good.
for the most part. Okay.
I'm there for the movie, the horror, the Giallo. This
Yes.
little bit of the twisted form of Hitchcock's Rebecca. Good night, all. I have some Christmas shopping to do still. Okay, Dave,
Bye,
you take
Dave.
care. And it's nothing like Hitchcock's Rebecca, but I get where you're going with the plot twists and everything like that. So they're trying. What else did we get right after the first girl's death? Before we get to Susie, they do the
Alan
seance.
has a seance.
Yes, the seance.
And that's when we meet Aunt Agatha in the wheelchair. We meet everybody at this stupid seance, except we don't find out who the woman is, the actual medium. And even the doctor comes, his psychiatrist comes.
Yes. And Albert comes and joins too, the brother.
So he sees Evelyn during this seance. Alan sees Evelyn.
Yes, there's a floating image of Evelyn above the table.
And she speaks to him.
Yes, and everybody seems to be looking at it, seeing it, but they say afterwards that Alan saw Evelyn and collapsed. So, I don't understand. But listen, Agatha, Aunt Agatha in the wheelchair, later on in the movie, doesn't that crack you up when she's literally going, it's like a Mel Brooks film. She's like going like 50 miles an hour.
Yeah, I was like, she's like the silver bullet.
yeah, it's like,
I was like, wow, she's going real. Well, Dino, I sped the movie up. I was watching it at 1.25.
Oh my God, it was even faster then. Oh my God. But I wanted to see Aunt Agatha in the wheelchair, like jump a ramp, like Dukes of Hazzard.
So even Evelyn's brother, Albert, who I don't think he has an occupation. He just hangs around. Like, does he ever sleep? He's always there.
Listen, he's a creep that hovers around.
But he said he should be able to come to the seance too because he's Evelyn's brother.
Yes, he says I'm Evelyn's brother. I should be able to.
And we see that he keeps boxes. We never find out why he keeps boxes.
Who? Lord Alan keeps foxes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe for hunting. I don't know.
Well, he does a whole spiel about it's amazing to see these creatures, how they act amongst and how they will act in the wild. I don't know what he's doing. Is he breeding foxes? Is he just keeping them as pets? Because if he is, it's a shame. They're in this very little caged enclosure. You don't do that to foxes.
Yes, and they don't look healthy. Their fur looks all mangy. They don't look happy at all. So anyway, this is when we meet Susie.
Yes,
this is when we meet Susie. He goes to this club and he sees this stripper.
Well, because the cousin is out there at the cage and the foxes, he's going, look at those foxes, baby.
And is this when he tells Alan you need one woman a month, at least one woman a month?
Yeah, he puts his arm around. He's being a good cousin, and he's going, listen, you gotta go check out this one girl. She's right up your alley. And they go there, and that's when he picks up Susie, but he doesn't really pick her up. He's sitting there, and this is the thing where they thought a little bit ahead, a little foreshadowing. He doesn't ask for her or nothing. She just, after the show's over, the lights come on and she's like right there next to him sitting.
And we find out later that it's because she was in on this
Something's going on there. Yeah, we won't give it away yet, but do the foxes represent the subversion of women? I love Dino's Italian accent. Thank you, Linda Bear. Sorry, I can't join tonight. Battery. Ugh. Mike Barrett says, "Sorry, I can't join tonight." Battery. Ugh.
Oh no.
It must have died right there.
So he offers her $1,000 to spend £1,000 to spend the weekend with him, and he pulls her
Yeah.
hair like he pulled the other girl's hair.
Well, she said, "What would I have to do?"
And you don't
The
think she was more
wasp-
beautiful than Gladys? Come on, she had a beautiful face. She was prettier than Gladys. I'm sorry.
Susie was a beautiful woman. Gladys was an even more beautiful woman.
And at this point, I wrote down,
all.
and I find out later. At this
Yeah.
point, I wrote down, isn't his friend at all, his cousin at all, curious about what happens to all these redheads that he sets Alan up with? But we know that George knows what's going on.
Yeah. George.
So he makes Susie put on the murder boots.
Okay. What's that? Put on? No, not the murder boots. Yeah. Again, he puts on the murder boots for Susie, and Susie. You think
good thing they're all the same size, huh?
Right. But you think I give Gone Toasty. Listen, Mike Barrett, you're not making any sense. So, yeah, fix whatever's going on there. You're not making any sense. Don't do voice to text, please. Type. Anyways, Susie is doing the same thing with the whipping back at him and stuff like that after she gets the boots on. There is a scene when she zips up that last zipper on the boot when she's sitting down. Okay, so she's whipping the whip at him, Alan. Oh, God. And
Dino's going to get stuck here.
He's thinking, I know, I'm like, wait a minute, blah, blah, blah. He's he's taking it from her. It's almost as if Susie's kind of swaying him a bit, like with her charm to a point, right? And then there's a second. No, not the bees, not the bees, says Betta Ray Bill. Welcome to the chat. Nicolas Cage reference. Wicker Man. I'm not sure why you came in saying that, but keep an eye on you there, and welcome to Wednesday night movie discussion.
Wednesday night nitro.
Yeah, Wednesday night nitro, man. But she ends up, kind of swaying him a bit, and you're like,
is she gonna make it? Is she gonna live?
But then he snaps.
Yes.
Freddie Miranda, hi, sorry I can't spell tonight. Really bad cold. Seth the Welsh. It's an okay Giallo. Okay, now he's typing okay. It's an okay Giallo. It's a terrible Giallo, Mike Barrett. But
so
you
she
love
gets
any
away.
Well,
she runs away, and she's running out on the grounds of the castle, and he chases her
because he brings out this needle,
and
it's filled with a syringe of something that evidently he uses to either kill them, poison. So, I mean,
and it was a big, gnarly needle too. Like I would have been like, "Oh my God!"
And the reason I keep bringing that up is because of the ending. It's like, okay, everybody knows that he's being this kind of, he's a killer of these women.
But he's so handsome. He's devastating.
If you say so.
He's not. I'm kidding. I'm being sarcastic. And his acting is terrible. His acting is wooden. That is the word I used. Wooden. He is not a good actor.
Well,
he's not a good actor. He's not.
The acting, I think his acting in this wasn't so bad. In the last movie,
wooden
the
is
Crime
the word
of the
I
Black
used.
Cat, I think he played the blind pianist better. But nevertheless, Susie.
So,
yeah.
Then Albert shows. So the girl gets away.
She
and
does.
Albert,
They don't.
And
yeah.
Alan wakes up in the crypt. Alan wakes up in the crypt and he finds a lighter. Is it that has an S on it for Susie?
Yes.
And that comes back too later. He puts it in his pocket.
The lighter shows up in various places, kind of. Again, throughout the middle part of this movie, beginning, middle of this movie, you're led to believe that he's going nuts and he's crazy, and that certain things, especially his wife, redheads, anything dealing with Evelyn, can spur it on, and he can go crazy. There's even points when he's eventually with Gladys, which we'll get to, where even then he goes a little nuts when he is referenced to Evelyn in some
He
way.
brutalizes her. He is really, really, really brutal with her.
Yeah,
but we find out later that she wasn't what she appeared to be anyway. But yeah, he was very violent with her.
Going on?
I like it.
Good to see you, Matt Maddox.
So anyway, Albert shows up again, and he says something strange must have happened here last night. And Alan gives Albert the 1,000 pounds that he was going to give.
Yeah, he's just sick of it and just hands him 1,000 pounds.
So
and
then Richard, the doctor, Dr. Timberlane, tells Alan to get married, and Alan goes to his man, the bailiff, and tells him, restore the castle. I'll give you 1 month. Restore the castle.
Yeah, he except for the
dungeon.
Well, the tomb, the dungeon, or the whatever.
Oh, the tomb. He tells them to wall in the tomb, which they never did they?
It didn't look like it, but yeah, wall that in, and that's the only thing. But fix everything else up, because he's on a mission from the psychiatrist to redo the castle, fix it up to its glory. And that's what they end up doing. And he goes away a little bit, and he ends up coming back, right?
It said he went to London, but
yeah, but London was calling.
So are we supposed to believe that they were in England this whole time? Because they never tell you where they are.
What?
It seems to me like they were in Italy because it had those tall trees. What are they called? Cedars?
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
So
Merry Christmas.
Richard the doctor. He wants the castle restored. He finds the lighter, and he's like,
"Do you got your echo cancellation off?" Somebody says you're echoing. Ginger is echoing. She sounds fine to me, but Greg
maybe
McCown.
I should go out.
No, you're
come
good.
Back in.
No, you're good. You sound fine to me. Is she echoing for anybody? Sounds good to me. Greg McCown. Hi guys. I just can't get into Giallo movies, so never seen this one. Sorry. I do like listening to your reviews, though. You pair are great together. Thank you, Greg. I appreciate it. Yeah, we're just having fun talking about a movie. If you like to hang out with us, that's awesome. Tonight, overnight, is a compilation of Sherlock Holmes all night long.
I'm going to go out and come back in.
No, you sound fine.
I can hear an echo.
Okay, then go out and come back in. I hear it again. And make sure echo cancellation's off. But
I haven't touched anything.
Okay, go out and come back in. Yeah. Okay, so she's going to go a second and then come back. But yes, that's when we're led to believe. Where were we? I don't even know where we're at. We're Susie. Susie's gone. So we're at Gladys. He ends up meeting Gladys at this party that his uncle or his cousin George. Hey, now you're all blurry. Hopefully that fixes itself. I didn't hear no echoing though. I don't understand. But Ginger is a star, Mike Bear. Yeah. You're good. Can you talk?
I can talk.
Okay, so you're good.
I don't hear an echo.
No, good.
Echo. Okay, proceed.
So George tells him he comes to George and Alan. They're at this party at the estate.
And what is George wearing?
He's wearing some hippie 70s weird cult shirt. I don't know. It's some weird shirt.
And earrings as big as mine. Big, huge earrings.
Yeah, he's
flamboyant.
He's flamboyant, but we find out that throughout the movie he's a ladies' man, but I don't know.
Is he ever a ladies' man? So I said,
but it's weird.
There's a redhead at the party.
Yes,
and she's dressed like I Dream of Jeannie.
Oh yeah, and that's Gladys. Oh, and I love the band that's playing at the party. They're singing some song, and for some reason the singer is geeking out, like you can tell it's just he's lip syncing to the song. He's geeking out, going back and forth, and it's just odd. It's very weird and
They
funny.
thought they were rocking out, and it was terrible. They thought they were the Beatles or something.
Oh, I wish I could play a scene on here. I should clip, and it should have shown a little bit of that. It cracked me up. It was
terrible.
so funny.
It was terrible,
but funny. And so he's at this party, and you're wondering, why is this girl walking around and like kind of making him follow and luring him kind of in a Black Widow trap kind of thing going on. And that's when
I didn't get that vibe at all, but okay.
Yeah, she's walking all around.
Well, I mean, he was chasing her, and she was trying to get away from him.
And George does give a quick glance over that way, foreshadowing to kind of. You didn't see that? Yeah, when Gladys was walking by, and Alan kind of followed her. Yes. But it was a quick look over there, and then it was done, and you really don't. I paid that attention.
And she did lead him away.
Yes.
And I said, "You have no idea, honey. He's a deranged lunatic. You're probably going to die tonight."
Yeah, he's crazy. He's crazy.
So he drives her home and asks her to marry him.
That's when they go into the apartment. And then they fall in love, and
he's acting really normal. He's like, "No, I want to marry you." And she married him, and he took her to the castle, and he very awkwardly introduced her to everybody at the castle. It was very weird.
George was out there, says Ian Sharp. Yeah, he was. He was, again, Ginger had the best words. He was a bit flamboyant, but in the film, even though he was very flamboyant, he was a ladies' man. And he's an actor. He was playing a part. This film is very strange, says Mike Barrett. Yes, it is. I think very strange because of the way the writing was and the edits and the
acting
and how convoluted everything got. Listen, I didn't have too much of an issue with a lot of the acting, even though you did. But okay. So after that, they end up getting married and going to the castle where they're introduced to all kinds of people. And
what is with the 5 blonde? Blonde maids
that
look the same. What the hell was that?
There were 5 maids.
They look like little
maids in blonde. There were 5 maids in blonde wigs. Okay. Anyways, I was going somewhere with that since it's Christmas. But yes.
What is that?
Well, I think the staff or the people. This is stupid too. Didn't want any of the maids to be redheads. So why put wigs on them to remind Alan of Evelyn? So they all had to look a certain way.
Oh, okay.
Wow,
you put that together. I never would have put that together.
But why not just get maids that had black hair or something like that?
Or brown hair, like they all had these stupid Little Orphan Annie.
I was going to say that. Little Orphan Annie. They all looked exactly like Little Orphan Annie. Spot on. As you said it, it was in my head. Hey, Night Fright Talk Show, what's going on? Make sure you guys give a thumbs up if you enjoy, or even if you don't like it, give a thumbs up. Thank you. And subscribe and all that good stuff. Yes. So it is funny when they're introduced to everybody there and the maids do look peculiar, but that's when you're introduced to Aunt Agatha and everybody else. And you come to find out that, this is where the whole inheritance thing kind of comes from and all that stuff. So
his wife Gladys asked him to move the painting, and he just never. It's so weird. The painting is of Evelyn. Yes, that's correct. That the painting is of Evelyn, and more than one woman brings it up. Like, who's that painting of? Can you move that paint? But he never addresses it, and they never talk about it. They never say that it's Evelyn. We just assume that it's Evelyn, and it's just so weird that they could use that as a device.
As a device?
Yes.
She got her library outfit on tonight. She's theming it up. No, yeah, so continue with it.
I forget what I was saying. His glass of
You lost
milk
your train of
disappeared.
thought?
Yes.
Why?
Can you take that off the screen, please?
What's on the screen?
Take that off the screen. His glass of milk disappeared, and Gladys says, "Oh, I'll go down to the kitchen and get you another glass of milk."
Yes, because they're having a honeymoon. Well, they're not having a honeymoon. I guess they're back.
And what says honeymoon more than a glass of milk?
Yeah. But listen, was there a point to that? I'm kind of confused. Like somebody came and took that glass away, and there was a ring of milk, and he goes, "I could have sworn I had milk there." There's a ring
Yes.
of milk. So yes, there's proof that there was a glass of milk there. But why did the maid take it away? There's no point to that scene.
There's
That's
no
the
point
scene.
to a lot of these scenes. They could follow up with stuff, and they don't follow up.
The only thing is, how are we going to get Gladys downstairs? But they didn't need to even put that in there. They could have said, "Hey, Gladys, can you go get me a glass of milk?" And she would have said, "Oh, yes." Or maybe Ovaltine, perhaps?
So she said she saw a maid in the kitchen with red hair.
Yes.
And that goes nowhere either. Like, what
It
maid in the
doesn't.
kitchen
It
with
didn't.
red hair?
Yeah, it didn't trigger him really. Well, it's only to put in the viewer's mind of the movie that, hey, Evelyn might be around, or there might be
Nobody
some.
thinks Evelyn's around. So then we
Hey,
find out that
Leanne Richey.
Albert and Agatha are lovers.
Who is?
Albert and Agatha, the lady in the wheelchair, and Albert, Evelyn's brother, are lovers.
She's in a wheelchair.
She's
They're
in a
lovers?
wheelchair, but is she actually able to walk, Dino?
Oh, yeah, she is. We
Okay.
come to find that out a little bit later,
Yes.
even though she's going a million miles an hour on her in a wheelchair.
Without falling over. She never tips over. She never hits a rock.
No.
A rock hits her, though.
Well, geez. A little foreshadowing there from Ginger.
So Alan sees Evelyn. And I said,
Mike there's trying to tell us about the milk. Milk was of maybe milk
I said
was
it's
for.
got to be Agatha and Albert messing with him. His acting is here it is. His acting is
Hey,
so
Em.
bad.
Wooden. His acting was wooden. So you're calling him a dummy? How did they not see the mistakes during dailies, Trotter Horse Watson Jr.? 9 edits, Trotter Horse, 9 edits. I don't know who was working on the dailies, but somebody certainly saw the footage and said, "You know what? How the hell am I going to put this scene together with this scene?" So there were
a lot of scenes that ended like, I was like, what is that? The scene would just end. It would just cut, and then you'd just be looking at something else. Like the Ferris wheel in the beginning. You see this Ferris wheel, and I'm like, oh, they're at a carnival or they're at a fair. And then they just drive away. You don't see the Ferris wheel anymore.
It's what happens when somebody adapts a story into a screenplay, like Emilio did from the writer, and you don't know if it's the director's fault or if it's the editor's fault.
Was there more than one editor?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't
Okay.
know. I didn't look to see how many editors there were, but
so
they're either rushing the film and they're trying to get it out as fast as possible, because we do know he was filming both movies back to back, this one and The Red Queen Kills 7 Times. So he got this movie out of the way really quick and then made a good film, The Red Queen Kills 7 Times, a year later. So don't ask me. It is what it is.
So Gladys asks Richard if he's sure Evelyn's dead. And she goes to the village cemetery, and Albert stops her and tells her not to go into the tomb. But of course she goes into the tomb.
Yes, she does. And he hates it. And that's when he starts slapping her like crazy. And I wanted to come over there and just...
So the snake.
Slap him right away. Oh, well,
tell us about the snake.
Okay, yeah, okay. So while she's in the tomb and she comes out and Alan's there on the grounds, during that scene, Gladys...
Albert's following.
Yes, Albert's following Gladys, and Gladys wants to find the casket of Evelyn. So this is before she even gets slapped around. Albert's following, and all of a sudden, you see a killer with black gloves, like in any other Giallo film. The black gloves come out, and there's this case where, and they get a snake, a poisonous, venomous snake, and they're holding it, and it is really the longest scene. I don't even understand why it was that long, but
It's like, we get it. It's a snake. We get it.
yeah, the camera's in a POV shot with the snake
Mhm.
moving close, and it just doesn't stop. It just keeps going. And 10 minutes later, he makes his way to Albert, right up to Albert, literally.
And Albert never hears him coming.
And then goes like this with the snake really quick. Jabs him
And
with
Albert
the snake.
goes, ow.
Yeah, and it's like almost like you were just like pricked with a pin and you didn't even know it. That's one of those urban myths that serial killer was out there. And listen, it could have been with poison on the tip.
I have to tell you, this is the most gruesome death. To me, this is the most gruesome death in the movie. This was very disturbing to me.
And you mean the snake bite one?
This Albert, the whole way that he killed Albert.
Because he gets bit by the snake. He falls over on the ground. He starts. Oh my God, he's dying.
He's writhing in agony because he's got snake venom in his body.
But this killer, I guess, throws the snake off to the side. I don't know.
We never find out what happens to the snake.
Right. But I'm just he gets him in a pit, a grave, and he starts to get buried alive on top of it
while he's writhing in agony from having just gotten bit by a snake. How horrible is that? That was very disturbing to me.
Listen, one of the worst ways, in my mind, nightmarish ways to die is drowning is there. It's number one.
It's to not be able to breathe.
And to be underneath the earth before you're actually dead.
And after you just got bit by a snake, so you're in agony. I mean, that's horrible.
Right. Like the people who go cave diving and go, deep, miles in the cave, and slip between rocks that they can hardly push their body through. And
they have to take their air tank off and shove the air tank in first and then climb in after it.
Or getting stuck that far. Man, listen, it takes a person to, I don't even want to talk about it no more. La, 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 la. I forget about it. It's not real. It's not real. Keep moving. So he ends up dying in this grave. And then Evelyn goes to the tomb, and she comes out, and that's when he slaps her and slaps her and slaps her. And that's when the doctor, who comes and snaps him out of it?
The gloves dragged Albert away, and poor Albert is buried alive. All of the silver is missing. And they think it was the girl Gladys saw dressed as a maid. I don't know. What was the whole thing with the silver going missing? What was that? The silver went missing, and then they found it in the crypt.
Yeah, it's a side point. It doesn't even really matter. I don't know. I don't care about the silver going missing. It has nothing to do with the movie. I don't even care.
They made such a big point of it. I mean, they made a big deal out of her discovering that all the cupboards were empty, and then they made a big deal of showing you that all the silver was in this coffin. I mean, what was that?
Yeah,
you shut up. You shut up.
I don't know. The gratuitous snake scene. Yeah, exactly, Em. Good to see you at Harley there. Is that a Harley?
Well, Gladys leaves the house, and Aunt Agatha follows. And at this point, I said, I just know the end of this movie is going to be super dumb. And then it shows you that Agatha can walk. She's pretending to be Evelyn. And then someone comes and bashes her over the head with a rock.
Yeah,
and they make you think it's the caretaker. Because he's got that like shuffling gait, like he's got like a limp. So they make you think it's the caretaker.
Yeah, when we get to that scene, that's the scene in the movie that kind of trips me out. Mike Barrett, Ginger and Dino, you are a good C to Giallo. What do you think about that, Ocean? Thank you.
Or is it Ocean River on Discord? Ocean, aren't you River on Discord? Are you going to be Lake if we go to another one?
I think that's a compliment. Anyways, listen, if you are a channel member, please again, make sure you check out the link. on the community tab page or the See Perks page for the Discord link to come over for movie nights and stuff. A lot of people are there already on the new Discord. So hopefully you guys get on over there. I haven't seen Frank in a long time. He usually comes to movie nights, but he needs to get himself over to, Discord.
Yeah, he needs to get himself over there pronto.
But this was the scene in the movie that kind of, made me giggle a little bit too, because of Agatha going so fast on the wheelchair, getting pounded.
I wasn't going to say anything about it because, like I said, I sped it up to 1.25, and I was like, maybe it looks faster than it really is. I'm not going to say anything.
Listen, I don't even understand how you can watch a movie at fast speed. This one you had no idea.
Sucks as bad as this one did.
But if it ends up being a good movie and you're going at a fast speed,
what?
How are you going to know the difference? She gives it a 4 out of 10.
Within the first 15 minutes, you know if this movie is going to be good or not. Come on now. I sped it up because the movie was dragging. The movie was dragging. If it had started to become interesting, I would have put it back at normal, but it never did get interesting.
Okay. But this was the rock in the head and Agatha going dead, and then the wheelchair, taking the wheelchair and dropping her into the fenced area with the foxes. And this is the scene where I say, what the hell did this have to even be here for? In a lot of horror movies like Fulci and stuff, like Zombie and even Cannibal Holocaust, these are movies that are disgusting and disturbing and all that kind of stuff. Zombie movies back in the day, the early zombie movies where they would just throw in intestines and stuff like that. She gets dumped in there, and then the foxes, they go on. What the heck? Did I hear something? They go on to have a prolonged scene of the foxes
just
going
sniffing around her,
going up to her body, pulling out. They must have threw real intestines or something, and they're pulling out intestines, and it was disgusting. But it went on again, another scene that went on for it seemed like 10 minutes, a long time. And I'm like going, it would have been just as fine if you seen the killer come and just drop her in there, and then the next morning they mention cut. And the next morning they mention Agatha's body was found here, like they do. Everybody comes and, the police are there and they're talking about the scene and everything. But it really didn't make any sense.
It didn't. And so then we see Gladys in front of Evelyn's portrait dressed like Evelyn for some reason. She's got the same dress on that Evelyn's wearing.
Yeah.
Maybe it is the same dress that Evelyn's wearing in that portrait. And Alan comes up and starts strangling her. But then he stops. He says, oh, you know what? Never mind. He stops.
Well, he's like, you can't do that. You can't trigger me with the objects. Listen, that's another scene though, Ginger, in this movie where it makes no sense. Like, why have that scene? Like, why would she, knowing everything she does, put a red wig on? And
the dress that his wife was wearing.
Yeah, I just don't get that point of the film. And real quick, M says vampires will hide silverware. Okay. And he said Yamaha FJ 750. Okay, very cool. Very cool. Just had to point
she
that out.
tells him, Gladys, his wife, tells him, you must let me destroy that portrait of Evelyn. You must let me destroy it. And he says, all right, go ahead.
Yeah, and he lets her cut it all up and destroy it and get rid of it. And hopefully that will work and not make you go crazy. I would think the less of Evelyn that's around at this point, the better, especially if you're married to Gladys right now. And not to mention also throughout this movie, there are those scenes he keeps flashing back every time things like that happen of the real Evelyn running and them making love in that spot in the grassy field. It's just very.
But we never find out who the guy is. Who's the guy?
No. I listen. I don't know.
And did it really happen? And then, like I said, her brother Albert told Alan that she died in childbirth. So what does that have to do with how? Anyway.
Yeah.
So Alan gives Gladys some laudanum because she says she sees a woman outside that looks just like Evelyn. Yeah. And so he gives her laudanum, and I'm like, I would not take anything from him. and she pours it into a plant when he walks away.
Wait, who gave Gladys that?
Alan.
Oh,
She
okay.
screamed. She said she saw a woman outside, and it was Evelyn. It was the woman with the
Right.
white gown on and everything.
And she's wearing the same black nightie that what's her name wore in the last movie, right? Am I wrong?
I don't know. I didn't notice.
The Crimes of the Black Cat. Oh, geez. Yeah, I guess.
Notice. Sorry.
Well, it could have been.
I keep
you
telling you I'm not into chicks. I didn't notice.
Well, evidently, the lingerie during the time period, it was similar time period. So maybe that was just a popular lingerie nightie. I don't know. It is what it is. Smart ass.
Back at you.
Yeah. Seth, you will not be disappointed. Wait, what's
so
going
it's storming, and his cousin George is there, and George tries to stop him from going out in the storm, and Alan slugs him. And he goes to the crypt, and this is when he finds the silver in the coffin. I'm like, okay, so somebody stole all the silver from the house, and they put it in the coffin? Why?
Well, it could have been Albert because he's money hungry, and people are trying to get what is Alan's, because Alan is married now, and earlier on they were reading that will, whatever.
Yeah, whatever that was.
So if anything were to happen,
we see Evelyn. It looks like Evelyn's body, but the eyes are moving.
Well,
it's like Evelyn's skeletalized body, but the eyes are moving around in the skull.
Listen, I think that was a very cool scene. That's why it made like most of the covers to posters and stuff like that. That's the shot that kind of looked pretty darn cool.
But they didn't do anything with it.
Well, no. I mean, I would have liked to seen her risen and come out. Well, what she did, and then the reveal is she takes it off as Alan's running away, and it reveals that it's Gladys. And at that point, you're going,
how did she know he was going to go out there?
Because she said, I saw a redhead outside the window. So immediately she knew that would trigger him. Again, these make no sense because at the end of the movie, and we'll talk about it, he's as sane as can be, it seems. But yes, she takes that off, and this is where you find out that she's in on it. She's in on something.
It's Susie. Or no, is it Susie? It's Susie because it has to be Susie. Because Susie got away.
Well, not at this point.
Oh, Gladys. You're talking about Gladys.
Yeah, thanks for ruining the ending. I'm done.
Shut up.
Yeah, tell us the ending now, Ginger. Why not?
He finds the silver. Evelyn's body.
The police are just talking. What's that? What's going on?
Alan falls in the mud.
Oh, good. Thank God you wrote that down. Oh, man. I almost forgot about that part.
And then we find out the corpse comes out of the crypt, and we find out that it's Gladys. And they take Alan away to the psych ward.
From your notes everything I just said the past 5 minutes.
So you do the same thing to me. What's your point?
Don't read the notes. Continue to where we just left off.
They take Alan away to the psych ward, and that's when they sit around and read the stupid. Alan said in the beginning that if anything happened to him, if he had another episode, he had written down what he wanted to do.
Yes, we are coming to the end of the movie.
So George Harriman, his cousin, becomes the executor, and there's a bunch of technical legal terms that I don't understand what's going on at all. And we find out that George and Gladys, the new Mrs. Cunningham, and cousin George are actually in cahoots. And George takes Gladys to his fancy little. I think has Mike had something to drink tonight? I think Mike maybe is in his cups.
Okay, well, I'll say this. I think it's making her uncomfortable, Mike. So yeah, she's blushing and stuff. There's nothing wrong with flattery, but
I'm just saying this isn't like Mike at all. Do you agree?
He don't usually say stuff like that, but you know.
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate it. I'm flattered. Let's finish this movie, shall we?
And I would say maybe not use the word sexy, but maybe beautiful.
Oh, wow, because you don't think I'm sexy?
Oh, well, well, then that's fine. So there you go. You can use the word sexy, but no, let's tame it down.
Anyway. George and
Yeah.
Gladys. George and Gladys. And then Susie pops up.
And we are all Ginger's admirers. Oh, bye.
No.
I'm joking. This is, yeah, we're kind of rounding the movie up here and stuff. This is where everything kind of the new plot of the movie comes in.
Yes.
And they're all sitting around. They open up the will with the executor. How do you like me repeating that, Ginger?
He serves, you do it all the time. He serves her champagne. We noticed that George serves Gladys some champagne.
Oh, wait. Where are you
doesn't
at?
drink it.
You're at the very end now, aren't you?
Not yet. Just get to where they're drinking the champagne and
okay,
Gladys...
yeah, that's fine. Did you mention where the next scene after the will reading, George, that flamboyant one, is in bed with Gladys?
Oh, I didn't notice that. See, all the girls look alike. I didn't realize that was Gladys. I thought it was somebody else.
You were going at 3 times speed, and you just raced over it.
1.25, sir. 1.25.
So they're in bed the next day, and you're like, and I was like going, oh my God, okay. So
I didn't realize that was her. All the women in these movies look the same.
No, listen.
Unless it's the doe-eyed, what's her name that you like?
Gladys looks nothing like.
Susie? Yeah, Susie's way better looking.
Mike Barrett says sorry. Listen, she appreciates
it. It's okay. It's okay, Mike. It's fine.
I far too much to drink. Yeah, it looks like Mike's been
drinking. I thought that might be the case.
Yes, okay.
But well, now that I know, they say the drunken tongue speaks the sober mind. You can't take it back.
So yeah, let's not rush this ending scene because it's kind of...
We're not. There's a lot to go through. There's nuances, Dino.
Yeah.
He serves her champagne, but you notice right away that he doesn't drink it.
He's not drinking it. Nope.
And then Susie shows up.
And she's while she's drinking it, he's not drinking it. And then she's slowly going,
But she keeps asking for more.
Yes, and I'm like going, listen, lady, you're feeling weird. I would say maybe you shouldn't ask for more, even though you're supposed to trust this guy. But
Connie, no, baby, he didn't drink anything. Connie said he is drinking. He pretended to drink. He didn't drink anything.
Yeah, no, he didn't.
Or is she talking about Mike?
Yeah, Mike.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, and then Susie, yes, out of the clear blue from the beginning of the movie, pops in, and lo and behold, she's a part of this scheme too.
Those dirty rats.
Yeah, and that's when George kind of reveals that you're drinking strychnine champagne. Strychnine? How about a little bit of arsenic and old lace?
How about that?
But yeah, no, he's slowly killing her, and that's when she says, "Can I have some more then?" No, I'm joking. She doesn't say that. I don't know.
So Susie shows up, and
a cat fight ensues. They start ripping
someone gets a knife
off, and
George just stands back and lets them do their thing. He's just like,
yeah, and there's a little swimming pool with mud in it, and they jump in there, and they're like wrestling around, and George squirts baby oil.
And this is the part. This is the part that Dino was talking about when he said sloppy. This is where it gets real sloppy.
Yeah, no, it's very. Listen, George sits back and lets the two women kill each other.
Yes.
And I guess, is that part of his plan? I know he was going to kill Gladys, but was he going to...
Does Gladys really have enough strength in her to murder Susie? Does she really?
She seemed to have. She swung down with a knife. She got Susie once, twice, 3 times, lady. I know.
So then Richard shows up. Richard and Alan show up. George stabs Richard.
Yeah, it gets her. Yeah, and her boobs sticking out while she sliced it. It was just a disturbing scene too. I just say it's a shame the entire. And I like when Gladys is just like lunging at her with the knife, and George
she's just like.
Well, and George is standing next to her, and he like moves out of the way, like, ha, 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 let him, and then wipes all of his fingerprints off and the floor. and everything and goes out the front door and locks
And
it.
wipes his fingerprints off the doorknob.
And what happens?
Richard and Alan both show up, and George stabs the doctor, Richard, in one time, and Richard's like, oh, he got me. So George and Alan start fighting, and they go around the back of the house to where there's a swimming pool.
And next to the swimming pool,
Conveniently next to the swimming pool,
there's acid and phosphate, all this stuff that would, once thrown in water, it's going to burn the hell out of you. So Alan punches him, but I do like when he immediately comes out of there. This is the point of the movie that we were talking about. Okay, Mike Barrett, enough. I know you're drinking, you said, but I think you're going. I said no longer sexy. You're keeping it going. I love you being in chat and talking Giallo with us every week, but enough with that. Don't make anybody feel uncomfortable. If you do, you're going to have to be blocked. I don't want to do that, Mike. So anyways, what ends up happening with Alan and oh God, it threw me off there a little bit. Alan and Dr. Richard.
Richard.
This is the point in the movie where Alan seems like he's not crazy no more. And the psychiatrist comes up and says,
he's a hero.
And that's where you're like going, wait a second. The entire film, you know that he's killed women.
He's a lunatic.
Yes, he's crazy, but yet everything's fine because they knew the scheme that was going on between Gladys, Susie, evidently, and don't ask me how they knew that.
And
George.
To drive Alan insane to where he'd have to go back into the psychiatric hospital, or what?
No, that was a ruse. That was a ruse to catch George, Gladys, and Susie. The psychiatrist only said that he was taking Alan to the mental institution because at the end of the movie, they're there to catch them. And the cops come and get George. What movie did you watch, Ginger?
No. Don't start that crap. Listen.
But
you're
George
saying this only this last thing was a ruse. The whole movie wasn't a ruse.
Well, listen, I don't know at what point they figured it out. They don't even say. Up until the last 5 minutes of the movie, we're led to believe as viewers that Alan is crazy.
You got this wrong, pal. You got this wrong. You got this wrong.
Let me end this, and then I will say that again. Okay, so George gets punched into the pool. Acid burns his skin. This is another thing that I look and I go, his skin isn't burnt. It's not red.
Right, it should be falling off in sheets.
He's just pretending, and practical effects. Cheap. It was just cheap.
And his acting was terrible. He was like, oh,
my skin is burning. It's burning. It's burning. Take me away. And the police are carrying him away.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, and again, in Italian fashion, the movie ends with the cops holding him and him going like this right up to the camera. And it just stopped, freeze frames right there. And that's the end of the movie. Now, to get to my point, up until the last few minutes of this film, where Alan is standing there, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Alan is standing there perfectly sane. The psychiatrist is there behind him. They were not at a mental institution because they're there to catch George, Susie, and Gladys. Okay, you tell me, what is Alan and the psychiatrist doing there at that house?
Richard, the psychiatrist, says he only set up that last thing. It was only the last thing. Oh, now I can't remember. How could you get this so wrong? And now I forget. The psychiatrist says, oh, when George lets Susie and Gladys kill each other, and then George leaves and he wipes his fingerprints off the door handle and he walks away, and then Alan and Richard come up. Richard tells him, no, I only set this up to catch you. He didn't mean the whole thing. He meant the last thing that happened, which would have been what? I don't know. But I don't think you're saying like the whole movie was that
No.
Richard knew that they were plotting to do whatever. What was it that they were plotting to do? I don't know.
Well, no, I've said this 3 times now. I don't know when Richard, the psychiatrist, Richard, and Alan, I have no idea when they figured it out because they don't let us know at any point in the movie. They don't say at any point in the movie that, hey, now we know, until that scene, which is the
He
last
makes
5
it
minutes.
very clear, though, that it was only that last thing that he set up to
That
catch
George
them.
set up.
That Richard set up, the psychiatrist set up. You need to watch the last 5 minutes of that movie, mister. You need to watch the last 5 minutes. I'm serious because that's not right.
Okay, I think it really don't.
Dino, Mike is back. Mike,
I am bloked.
he's bloked.
Yeah, you certainly are. I'd keep it cool. Keep it cool. We're almost done. Get through the stream. Oh, I am blocked. I am blocked. No, you're not blocked. I said you're not blocked, Mike Barrett. You're not blocked. Just calm down. We're almost done. We're almost done.
Oh, we need your score. We need your score,
You're
mister.
cracking me
Give
up.
me that score.
So listen, that's how it ended, and it's all good. And listen, Mike's fine, you guys. Don't worry about it. He's fine. We're almost done. We're ending the show here. Mike, man, I don't know what you're drinking, but yeah, it's got to be strong. Anyways, I would give this movie.
You already know mine.
And I'm going to agree with you. It's a 4 out of 10.
Oh, he agreed with me.
Because it's a terrible. Please, no one bloke me. The movie is a mess. Yes, the movie is a mess. Again, the ending kind of. Lots of things in this movie just kind of blew it for me. But
I was very angry at the ending. It was like, you're doing too much. Why are you doing all this? Stick to one thing. Like, it was too much.
Especially when we just. I think we all love Dino and Ginger, or we wouldn't be here. Just got to say in a cool way, such as "Love you, fam." Back at you.
Thank you, Paul.
And CM says he's not fine. That's inappropriate. Listen, it's your call, Ginger. You want Mike gone?
Mm-mm.
Okay, listen.
Because he's not normally like this. Let's give him another chance. He's not normally like this at all.
Yeah, and again, I told him you gotta, when you're in my chat, you definitely got to respect everybody in the chat, whether you're drinking or not. Drinking is no excuse to be, whatever. I'm going to watch my words, but we'll leave it go at that. CM says 0.05.
Oh, wow. Come on.
I love hearing you guys' score.
Dino, the castle.
2.1 for me.
The castle, Dino.
The castle.
The castle in the countryside, the setting.
Well, yeah, no, listen, that was good, but that doesn't make a good sit down and watch movie.
No, but I think 4 is fair. Like,
for me, anytime something, it's interesting enough to watch the whole film. John McKee asks, if you're a Giallo fan, sure, you need to see, probably. You don't need to see the movie. I'm telling you.
Is it, Dino, we talked about this before. Is it a Giallo?
And that's the thing. Yeah. At the end of this film, I'm just like, okay, so in the end, George is, if you're in the aspect of Giallo, there's 2 kills. It's from George. You don't know who he is. The killer is throughout the whole movie. But the character of George is there throughout the whole movie. And listen, it just doesn't have any style whatsoever of Giallo to me. You said, Ginger, at the beginning of the stream, though, that there were some aspects you think had, were Giallo.
It wasn't I don't think it was a Giallo movie, but there were certain things about it that were like a Giallo. The black gloves, all the red herrings and the twists at the end. That's all Giallo elements, but I would not call this a Giallo movie.
Yeah, the black gloves, the only kill with the black gloves was the snake.
Well, but we saw gloves before. That was the only kill.
Yeah, well,
but we saw the gloves before.
Yeah, a good twist in a movie is a fun thing unless it feels forced. Oh, Paul B. Yeah, no, listen. A good twist is fine, and most Giallo films have a twist at the end. It's when it's convoluted, doesn't make sense, uh, introduces a whole new plot.
I
It's
found out
just
the name of the castle. I had to find out, Dino. I'm going to send
oh,
this to you. The name of
okay,
the castle where they filmed it is
yeah.
Palazzo Portocolleone Thiene in Venice. I'm going to
And
look that
you
up and send you some pictures of it.
nice, and you'll only get that here. Ian Sharp, Watery Giallo. Yeah. Night, Mike Bayer. We'll see you
Mike, you're
next
welcome to
time.
come back. Tell Mike he can come
Oh
back.
yeah, listen, Mike, come back, come back. Just please watch what you drink, how much you drink before the stream. But we'll be here Sunday again, so please, no, come back. I enjoy you being in the
Oh,
streams.
Sunday we're doing Pearl.
Yes,
We
Sunday
don't
will actually.
normally do new movies at all.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm excited for this actually
Mhm.
because I saw the other movie she did, and this is kind of a prequel, kind of. It's a Southern Gothic horror movie, Pearl, by A24 Films, which is they put out some good stuff. They've put out the new movies that I like. How about that? So, and tomorrow night, you guys, please join me for a complete. This is going to be a long series that I'm doing. It's a new series. I am going to be going through the history of old time radio, A through Z. We are going to start in alphabetical order with all old time radio shows. So I may or may not be so animated. There will be points where I'm actually reading episode logs and stuff like that to you, the history behind it. So the information will be out there. So that's kind of what this is going to be. This will take an awful long time. So 2 years later, I may be on S. Who knows? I don't know how it's going to, work out. But
I'm looking
this
forward to
20
it, and especially because all of my old time radio favorites begin with B, so mine will be up real early
earlier,
in
huh?
the series.
Yeah, yeah. No,
I
listen,
like Boston Blackie, Bold
it's go-
Venture, and Broadway is my beat. Those are my three favorites.
yes, it's going to be nice because we're going to be able to get everything that was ever made, even the ones that don't exist no more. We'll talk
Mhm.
about. We'll talk about the actors who did it, and
We can talk about Strange Wills and what was that one that
we'll
I liked?
Theater 5. We'll be talking
Theater
it all.
5. Yes, I really like that one.
I am here for Giallo, says Mike Barrett. Well, hopefully you're here for other stuff too. But yeah, that'll take a while.
Oh,
Philip
so if we
Blair,
don't do
hello.
Giallo movies, Mike isn't interested. I think that's what he's saying. Because we don't
Yeah,
always do Giallos.
right. Well, every
Dino's
Wednesday
just
and
on a
Sunday.
thing right now.
Yeah. Let's see. A24 rocks. Is that the Welsh? Yes. Greg McCown says, "Are you still on Discord? I can't see the channel."
Oh boy.
I'll repeat again. Where are you at, Greg? Yeah, you're a channel member. Listen, Greg, if you look at our video right now, okay, if you look where it says the Late Late Horror Show, there's a button that says See Perks. Hit that, and there's a new link to the new Discord. So this is what happened. I will say it again and see how many people get it. But there's a new Discord group. The old one is destroyed. All the
Yes, it's
movie
a
nights,
new one, but it's the same as the old one.
it's same as it's the same kind of Discord. It's the same kind of group, but the old one's destroyed. This is new. It's the Late Late Horror Show Club. I put a link on Patreon and I put a link. Thank you, Mike. I put a link on the community tab. And again, Greg, if you can't find it, message me and I will give you the link because there were 160 members on the old Discord and 80% of them were not channel members or Patreon members. If
They
somebody
were just
quit,
using it as their social media site.
yeah, I mean, well, listen, it's perks for people who support the channel
Mhm.
through Patreon and becoming a channel member.
And that's
So,
only fair because Dino works so hard. He works 7 days a week on this channel. And his time is worth money. His time is valuable. Come on, the least you can
listen,
do is
well, no, I
99
do.
cents a month.
Yeah, no, I do work hard, and it got out of hand on Discord, where again, that's like 120 people who maybe at one time became a member, but then just dropped it. And oh, I'm still on Discord. This is great. So I'm keeping up with that now. So if somebody drops, and is no longer a channel member, I have to be able to keep up with that and take them out. So that's why I need to know the name of who enters the Discord and people who end up dropping the channel memberships or the Patreon memberships, because it's got to be an exclusive thing. I need support on the channel to keep everything going the way it is full time, So the perks are for that, and Discord is going to be a place where everything perks wise is going to be. There's going to be more than one movie night a week probably now.
You're
There's
doing
gonna,
live streams. He live streamed the original Star Trek series today. You can just turn it on and just let it play. It was awesome.
Yeah, I just had the channel going. Like in Discord, there's a streaming channel, and it says there, and it's red when it's live to show that it's live. So you can't miss it. It's so easy. The only thing I think people might have trouble with is finding the link for the Discord, and it's underneath the channel page, the video where it says Late Horror Show. There's a little button where it usually says join. If you remember, it'll say see perks. Hit that, and all the stuff will be listed that the channel members have access to. And I will keep posting it there. And this Friday, movie night will be on Discord, even if 10 people show up. So we did do a test run, and people showed up, and it worked great. So let's see, Greg McCown, correct. You are worth way more. I feel. Oh no, listen. Whatever anybody can to support is awesome.
Yeah, it's not the amount that's even the issue here. It's that on, like it's like people who watch Dino's shows and can't even be bothered to give a thumbs up. Can you give a thumbs up?
Oh, listen, Ginger,
no,
we're fine. Listen, I appreciate every single person who's here.
I'm fired up now.
I appreciate all the support. You guys just being here is support. I mean, if you can join the channel and the Patreon, it just helps me more. It's just more support to help what I do here. I keep trying to change things up and make things fun and entertaining for everybody.
Oh, Greg said he found it. Good, Greg. I'm glad.
Awesome. There you go. Found it. Thanks. Cool. Yeah. I mean, listen, I can do a whole stream to kind of show people how to find it, because it can be hard, I guess, but it is kind of easy too. All you need to do is hit the channel page, and where it says join, if you're a member, it'll say see perks. That's all is different. So it's there. Just hit that button and it'll take you to all of that. But Discord is such a fun, cool place. There's different discussion groups. I can stream stuff for 6 hours. If you want to jump in and watch something, do it. Movie nights, there'll be more of those. So now that everything's centralized in Discord and not on Cosme and all these other places, I can focus more on there and give more back to everybody who's supporting the channel and stuff like that. So that's kind of the point. And on top of it, there were 120 people in there who were not members. So I'm like,
that's just wrong. I mean, that's just wrong. That's
no, Discord. It's all right.
The Discord channel is a perk for being a member. And if you're not a member, why are you there?
Well, that's my fault. I needed to keep up, and that's what I'm going to do from now on. I got to keep up with who's coming in and who drops their membership and take them out. And if they become a membership again,
so that's more work for you.
It is more work for me, but what can you do? I don't know what more to say. But yeah, no, thumbs up, everybody. If you like the stream, if you enjoy what we're doing here, 58 thumbs up. Oh no, we need to get that to 100. It ain't gonna happen.
So,
but-
I wanted to say thank you. If she might be watching, I don't know if she's watching or not, but Celise,
Yeah.
Sweet and Spooky, she was awesome.
Yeah, if you guys didn't catch the new Tuesday night, it's a short review. Hopefully they'll be longer than 9 minutes, but depends on the movie. Reviews could be 10 minutes, could be 15 minutes. So who knows how long she'll do them for,
But she's so fun. She's fun. It's fun to watch her.
Yes, it is. She knows her stuff. And the cool thing about Celise is she's got the love of Giallo and the kind of same love that I got, you know what I mean, for this and that we're doing
here. Are you
here.
excluding me deliberately? Because that's what it sounds like to me.
Well, last week's...
We keep going over this and over this, sir. I do like Giallo. I like Giallo movies.
No, I know you do. I know you do.
But if they stink, I'm going to tell you they stink.
Same here. How many did I give 5s? Listen, but yeah, it's a cool new segment every Tuesday, classic horror corner. So they will be classic movies. And again, she is sweet and spooky. She's a really cool girl. And
she is.
Give a subscribe to her channel, but she'll be here every Tuesday. She's part of the Late Late Horror Show family now. So there you go. I know Ginger has been getting the love tonight, but Dino, I just want to say thank you. You do such.
Thank you, Greg. You're right. I agree.
Really great guy. Thank you. I really
Ditto.
appreciate it. I just joined the Discord channel. My tag is Dilla. Thank you for letting me know too, Seth the Welsh. Thank you. That's the other thing. If you guys do jump on there, now I know who you are.
He needs to know your name.
Yeah, now that I know who you are, and if I message you, always check your messages. There was one person who tried getting on 3 times. I messaged him for 3 days in a row, 2 days in a row, and never responded. So I had to block him, and he could be a member or not. I don't know. But anyways,
you booted him off and he came back. So he must have known something was up. And I saw the message you sent to him. It's sitting in the Discord. I saw it. So how did he not see it?
So thanks. And I'm glad, Seth the Welsh, I'm glad you're there. Greg, I'm glad you found it. I will go there after we get off here now and welcome you with a wave. And remember that movie nights will be over to the left where it says streaming channel. And listen, you guys can go in at any time and chat among yourselves with video.
There's even a whole There's even a whole channel for recipes.
Well, yeah, that's for the girls.
WWM said, "Can you see that tree from space?" Listen, I'm tired of you people crapping on my tree. Okay, I know it's cheesy. I know it's super bright. On this
stream. Yeah.
I love my cheesy white tree, and that is not the tree I ordered. I ordered the green one, but that's the one they sent, and I like it.
It's very nice. It's very
bright.
So anyways, with that said, Seth the Welsh. So you're, I'll have to check again. So you're on Patreon then. Oh no, Seth the Welsh, right there. Okay. See, it's confusing. Listen, I try my best. But anyways, let's go. Sherlock Holmes all night tonight. Timestamped. I picked out great episodes. So it's a Sherlock Holmes night for me. We're getting around Christmas. Sherlock Holmes is my
act like all the episodes are different. They're all the same.
What do you mean? What are you talking about? Sherlock Holmes?
I know you love Sherlock Holmes. I'm just not a big, huge fan.
Yeah, well, evidently. And I'll tell you this. They're all different. They've all got different stories. And yeah, they're not all...
Who are they brought to you by? They're brought to you by Wild Root Cream Oil, aren't they?
Are you putting Sherlock Holmes down? Sherlock Holmes is one of the most popular old-time radio shows out there.
Just because it's popular doesn't mean I have to like it.
I know. So I won't see you in chat tonight then?
Oh, you know I'll be there.
Okay, anyways, peace out, everybody. We will see you for Pearl, a new movie on Sunday. Christmas. So there you go.
Sunday is Christmas. That's correct.
Spend your Christmas evening with us after everybody's done and we've all eaten and there's nothing more to do. You can sit down and enjoy.
And listen to me scream at Dino and interrupt him for an hour and a half.
Well, I have a feeling we're both going to like this film, but I could be wrong. Anyways,
I can't wait.
yeah. So peace, everybody. See you later, Ginger.